Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to another rendition of Activ8 Now. Guys, we're going to be testing out something a little bit new here today. I get some headphones in so that I have my microphone a little bit closer to me. If you're having trouble hearing this, please feel free to send a comment in. We do have our video production team behind the camera today, so they'll be able to assist me in making sure that everything is flawless and smooth as we cruise along this core day. So, guys, I want to start right now. We're going to start with our kind of traditional warm-up, and then we're going to go into really addressing the lower back, the lumbopelvic hip region, for those of you who were sitting yesterday during Memorial Day. So we're going to start with our regular walking toe touch. I just need 2 reps on each leg. Heel down, toe up. I want you to drive that heel into the ground. Sink the hips down and back. Okay, make sure we're trying to get a good stretch on the hamstring. Take a couple steps in between. Okay, you can reach down for your toes, but really reaching here is not going to maximize that stretch. Dropping the hips back like this, right? Like I'm trying to bring my butt towards the ground is where we're going to feel the stretch most in that hamstring. So we'll get 2 on each, then coming back, we're going to hit a cross knee pull. So you can see me, I'm just pulling the knee across the body here. Opposite hand, opposite leg. Grab the knee, pull it across the body, stand nice and tall. 2 reps on each leg. Big pull. When we're done, we'll flip it. We're going to go right into an ankle grab. And what I want, find your balance, is just a slight invert on that ankle grab. 2 reps on each, grab the ankle, slight invert. After we get 2, we will flip it around. Flipping around right to a regular leg cradle. We're going to lie our leg across the opposite leg. So you can see what I'm doing here. Step into frame. Lie that leg across. Sit all the way down and support the shin. At the very bottom, I want you to hold here for a second. Get a good stretch in the piriformis. We're going to be working a lot today on the lumbopelvic hip region. So you'll see here in a second, once we get done our warm-up, we're going to be cruising right into addressing the lower back pretty specifically, and then we'll get into our core work. So 2 on that leg cradle. Then we're going to go right into a lateral lunge. As I lunge to my right, I want you reaching to the right. And when I lunge back to my left, we're going to reach to our left, and we're going to flip it over. So we are going to lunge and reach, lunge and reach. We got 2 sets here. Hopefully I don't get out of frame. We'll go 1 more. I'll shorten my step. Lunge, lunge. Coming back. Forward lunge. I want you to get your knee all the way down to the ground. Take your hands, bring them across the closed side, which is this leg right here. Closed side, and we're going to use those hands to support our twist. We're going to get a little bit of a contralateral movement here. Right? So I take the hands, put it on the leg, and assist that twist. We'll get 2 on each side. Take your time. Make sure that that chest is not collapsing down. After we get 2, I want to see a straight leg kick with a reach. So kick that leg all the way up, swing it through, reach the arm straight out. As you're kicking the heel up, we are trying to elongate the planted leg. So as I kick and I reach, try to get a good stretch on that planted leg. Now, as promised, we'll go into real specific work for the lower back. So we're going to first start with a QL stretch, okay? What I want you to do is find a wall. So I'll give everyone a minute or so to get themselves situated, slide some chairs and some couches out of the way, slide the pictures off the wall. But when we get ready and when we're in the right position, I'm going to do this from 2 different angles so that you can see me best. But when we find that space on the wall, the heels will be on the wall, our butt is going to be on the wall, our shoulders on the wall, our head on the wall, okay? Both hands are going to start up in about a 90-degree position. Take 1 hand off of the wall, like we're in a teapot position, okay? The opposite hand stays in contact with the wall. Everything on the backside stays in contact with the wall. The hand that is not on the wall is going to support the hip. I want you to take that hand and press into your hip, keeping everything in contact with the wall. You're going to side bend as far as you can go. Now, when we're doing this, the space between our hip and our rib, we should try to be actively opening that up. So everything stays in contact with the wall. We press the hand into the hip, and we're going to reach as far as we can go. Now you're going to feel a point, which I'm about at right now, where you feel a little stuck, and that's fine. I want you to reset, and we're gonna stay at one side at a time to see if we can really work that QL, quadratus lumborum, for those of you interested in what that stands for. It's a deep, deep, deep lower back muscle. Right? If that thing is tight, the lower back is normally a little tight. We're gonna get 5 on each side, so take your time, make sure you're actively pressing that hand into the hip to help assist the stretch. Just 5, and then we're gonna switch it to the opposite side. Here, everything in contact with the wall, take your hand, make sure you're pressing that in. You're gonna go as far as you can. Now, even for me, I can already tell my left side is a little bit tighter than my right, okay? Just hang with that thought, because as we come back to it on round 2 here, we are gonna do 2 rounds of this. We're really addressing the lower back to start before we get into our core work, because the core work is gonna be some quick circuits today. We're gonna take our time, but now I know, right, that right side's not as tight as the left, so when we circle back to this, I'm gonna spend a little bit more time, really focus on trying to get a better stretch on that opposite side. Next exercise for that lower back and also for the thoracic spine, I want us in a half kneel position with the open side facing away from the wall. Your hand is going to be on the wall, and I want your shoulders square. A lot of the times we see athletes do this, they'll reach their hand and their shoulders are already rotated open. I don't want that. I want the shoulders square. I want your opposite hand here, and I want your eyes following your hand as you rotate as far as you can go. You're only going to get 5 thoracic rotations each side. The eyes are following the hand the whole time. Make sure that that shoulder, the inside shoulder, is staying on the wall and not lifting off. So let's switch that. Other way here. Shoulders are square, the inside shoulder stays down. The eyes follow that hand. Now, oddly enough, the right oblique for me is feeling a little bit tighter than that left side. Again, just take note on it so that when we circle back to this in the next round, we can focus on it a little bit more. Now I'm going to do this from a straight ahead. I'm going to be on my back, but straight ahead view here. We're going to do our open books. So what I want you to do, lying on your back, you're going to take your leg straight and bring it all the way across our body. Now, if my left leg is across my body, I'm going to take my right hand, lock that left leg down. My left hand is up in the air. I want you focusing on the eyes following the hand down to the ground and then resetting back up. You should be stretching the lower back right at the top of your butt. Firing, make sure if you kind of hit an end range where you feel stuck, or if you're not getting far at all, instead of the leg being straight, bend that leg, okay? They can be just slightly to help you out just a little bit. Let's try that here today. Once we're done, remember just 5 reps. We're gonna flip it to the opposite side. Drop to the right. The eyes are following the hand. The leg is straight. I'm making sure that I'm actively keeping my breath. I don't want to hold my breath here and get stuck in that stretch. Now, when we are done, the last one, we'll flip it over. My favorite, Cobras. We're going to look like we're in a push-up position, okay? First things first, make sure that the shoulders are relaxed down and in. For those of you who have not joined me, when I say down and in, the shoulders should not be doing this, right? They should be down and in as if someone's pulling your shoulders down and holding you in a good posture position. Even when we're doing groundwork, we still want to be in a good posture position. So I'm in that Cobra. I find the shoulders down and in, okay? I'm going to press my chest as tall as I can, and I'm going to press my hips towards the ground. As I do that, and as I'm hitting the top of that stretch, I'm making sure that the shoulders are not creeping up. It's very common to start seeing this happen, right? The shoulders creep up. You kind of start extending in that thoracic a little bit more so than the lumbar. We want active extension here in that lumbar, pressing the hips forward. We're going to get 5, and then we're going to hop it back up. Now that we know what we're doing in round 2, we're going to go a little bit quicker in our stretching. So right back to our QL stretch. Heels on the ball, butt on the wall, head on the wall. Doesn't matter which side we start on, but remember for me, that left side on this QL was a little bit tighter. So I'm going to really take my time Take a big deep breath and reset on each rep. Actively using that right hand to push my hip in. I want to make sure that everything's staying in contact with the wall. We're not lifting off here. We're trying to increase that space between the hip and the rib. We'll hit one more rep and then switch sides. Take your time. If one side feels tighter than the other, don't rush through this. This is not going to be a really crazy fast day. So feel free to take your time. Focus on what we're trying to do here. After we get 5, we're back to that half kneel position. Half kneel, shoulders on the wall, shoulders are square. The eyes are gonna follow the hand as we open. And we're gonna get 5 a little bit quicker here. Circling back on this side, it's definitely tight, but I notice when I get to the opposite position where that right knee is down and the left foot's on the ground here, that my right oblique's a little bit tighter. So how do we stretch that? Similar to what we just did on the QL. Great question. Take a deep breath. Once you feel that sticking point, for me it's right here, take a big inhale, big exhale. And see if we can increase that range of motion. So increasing the range of motion is not something where we're just trying to crank on a stretch and try to work our way through it. Use your breath to help you out. You should see, if you take a big inhale, big exhale, you should see that arm, that leg, fill in the blank. That range of motion should increase. Let's go back onto our back here for our open books. Lying that leg across. Lock that leg down, hand is up. Actively try to get that shoulder blade down to the ground. Only going to do 5 before we switch it. Five. The eyes follow the hand. The leg is straight. Remember, if I hit that point, big breath in, big breath out. That's that sticking point. Take your time. Again, I wanted to get a good stretch here on that low pelvic hip region before we get into our core work. We'll switch it over, or flip it over, switch it over, one of the two. On our stomach. Okay, relax the shoulders down and in. Cobras, pressing the chest tall, press the hips towards the ground. And then we'll reset, coming up. Take your time, only 5 here. Stretching is kind of important, remember? Last but not least. Good. Guys, let's take about 1 minute to grab some water and rest. We're gonna go right into our first circuit here today. Again, we're gonna move a little bit quicker in our circuits. We've got 2 main circuits with 4 rounds total in each of them. We'll fly through them, and then we'll round out today with a little stretching. Quick sip of water, and we'll get right to it. Now, again, our circuit 1, there's gonna be 4 rounds of this. It's 10 reps of everything, just to kind of give you a little idea of what's to come. Now I'm gonna slide this away from the wall just a little bit. Okay, what I wanna see in the first exercise, this is called a body saw rocker. Some of you have done body saws where we use slide pads, okay, or we do this sometimes with a physio ball. So what we're gonna do today is we're actually going to rock, we're gonna push our body back. So we're gonna be rocking on our toes. Now, here's the thing, different ways of doing this. You can do one range of motion where the big toes stay down. And all I'm gonna do is push back and then pull forward. Push back, pull forward. The range of motion is not great. If you're comfortable with that, or if you want to try a little bit of a variation, you can roll all the way onto the front side of your feet and then all the way back. So front side, so our toes are actually curling under us, and then we roll back on them. Might not feel great if you're doing that one on tile, so do option 1 instead. Just rocking back and forth. You will feel your 6-pack firing on that. When we're done, we go onto our stomach. We're going to hit an alternating Superman. This is going to be 10 on each side. Now, I really want to take my time today and make sure that as I'm firing my right arm and my left leg, okay, that I'm using the muscles up and down the spine to get up. I could easily do an alternating Superman, go like this, okay? Just kind of chug along, power through it. We want to be very intentional when we're trying to fire. So take your time, slow it down, make sure that opposite arm, opposite leg is firing, okay? What I want to focus on is getting my chest and my quads up off the ground, not doing this and just wrenching my neck up, right? The neck and the head should naturally lift because the chest is lifting off the ground. So we'll alternate right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg, 10 on each side. We're going to do swimmers. So on our swimmers, our toes stay down, the hands are at our chest. Our hands are going to come forward. As we circle back, my chest is going to come and reset back to the ground. So I'm getting my chest up as high as I can go. The legs are not lifting up there. Use legs and keep your toes down, okay? Let's try to get that chest up a little bit higher. Last but not least, we're going to do an alternating downward dog toe touch. So I'm going to take my right hand, touch my left toe, and I'm going to alternate back. So now that one is going to be a little bit more of an active stretch there instead of a really direct core exercise. So we've got 10 reps of everything. The alternating downward dog toe touch is going to be 10 total. So it's 5 on each side. Everything else will be 10. The rockers will be 10. The alternating Superman, 10 on each side. Swimmers will be 10. So the downward dog toe touch is just 5 on each, 10 total. So let's start with those rockers. Remember, we've got 4 rounds here. On our toes, going back and forward is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 10. Range of motion doesn't have to be great there. If you do want to go to the option 2 of wrapping those toes under us, feel free to do so. Alternating Supermans, 10 on each side. The chest and the quads are lifting up. When I'm using and focusing on the muscles up and down the spine to raise that arm and that leg up off the ground. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right to our swimmers. Try to get that chest up. 3, 4. This one's tough to do and talk at the same time. And 10. Perfect. The alternating downward dog toe touch. Here we go. Start in that push-up position. Reach our hands through. Touch the toe. We're going to get 5 on each side or 10 total. That's 2. Try to get your butt up as high as you can. 3, 4, 5 on each side, 10 total. Right back to those body rockers. Body saw rockers, body rockers. I think it was an old 80s song. Okay, here we go. Plank position, rocking on the toes. If you want that variation of curling the toes under, give it a shot. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, lower ourselves down. If you feel like the pace is too fast on this alternating Superman, slow down. Give yourself a second. Also, just a quick tip. Use the opposite arm and the opposite leg, the one that is on the ground, to help us get up. Right now, I'm using my right arm and my left toes to try to help get my right leg and my left arm up. Use that opposite side to help you out. And make sure we're actively raising our head up. The head should rise with the chest. One more each side. And right to our swimmers. Here we go. Getting that chest up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now if you're with me, you're feeling that lower back firing a little bit. Should be a good fire. Should feel like we're working it. Shouldn't be any pain. Again, that's why we spent so much time in the beginning working on stretching. Prior to this, we're going to attack that posterior core in this first circuit. 2 more on each side with that downward dog. Last one. Good. Right back to our saws. Let's see what we got. That's halfway point, 2 more rounds. Rocking back and forward. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. Right through our alternating Superman. Remember, use that opposite. Use the opposite arm to help us out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It's getting a lower back today. Love it. Right to our swimmers. Eight, 9, and 10. You alternating downward dog toe touch. 5 on each side. 2. Try to get your head through and past your arm. Butt goes up towards the ceiling. 1 more on each side. And good. Last round here for circuit 1. We're gonna go back to our saws. Here we go. Rocking back and forward. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're down onto our stomach, using the opposite leg. Okay. Big deep breath if you need it. Remember, no. Put a little pace on today. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That downward dog toe touch. It's going to round us out on circuit 1. Here we go. 1. Get the head all the way through. 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, guys. First circuit here. We relax and chill for a minute, and we're coming back to circuit 2. About a minute rest here. Catch our breath. Guys, remember, now that we're resting, if anyone is having trouble hearing me today, please let me know. Just send in a comment, and we'll be able to adjust here. But hopefully this is a little bit better in being able to hear me, especially when we're doing ground core work. It's not the easiest to hear. So we're going to go here in about 40 seconds or so. Just get our station ready, maybe 1 more sip of water, and then we're going to get right to it. Okay. While we're still resting here, we are going to be doing an exercise that it's going to be tough. Hopefully, if all is well with the audio, you're going to be able to hear me, but being able to see me is going to be the key as well. We're going to be on a wall. Back to that same wall that we did the QL stretch on the thoracic work. What I want on this exercise, guys, is first and foremost, the hands are on the wall. And the position of the hands are key on the wall. I have my hands all the way up here above my shoulder I'm putting a lot of flexion on that shoulder, a lot of unnecessary stress. I want those hands to be directly across from my shoulder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work my feet away from the shoulder. So now, from a side profile, if I was able to hold this pose for a second, it's going to be a 45-degree angle. Okay, I want you to find the 45-degree angle, but here is the key to that angle. Sometimes, when we're here, we see a lot of athletes do this with their lower back. And I don't know if you're going to really be able to tell from that view, but the lumbar and the lower back should not extend. That 45-degree angle, there should be a straight line from your ear to your ankle. You shouldn't feel your hips swaying towards the wall like you got a bow in your back like this. We don't want this. We want to be locked in our pelvis. We're going to find that 45-degree angle on the wall. Everyone is going to be at a different angle. You might be up here, where some people are comfortable coming all the way down, and that's fine, just as long as the shoulders are protected with the hands right across, and we're not losing our lower back. From here, we're going to lift the same leg off like we do a Spider-Man plank, and I'm going to try to get my right knee to my right elbow, and then left knee to left elbow. You'll feel when we lift off, and we're now on one leg, balancing on one leg, you're going to feel that opposite hip and those lower abs really firing to keep us from extending. Now, here's the million-dollar question. Okay, hey, Coach Ken, my back extending, right? I'm not, when I lift my foot off, it's not working. What I need you to do then, let's say that your ankle is here, right? Hey, Coach Ken, this isn't agreeing with my lower back, it's extending. Walk yourself closer to the wall, you're a little bit more upright. This is fine, right? I'm okay with this, doing a Spider-Man plank from here, as long as when we're doing this, we're not extending with the lower back, or we're not shooting our butt out, which is the other thing that we could be doing incorrectly. So be mindful of those two. The hip is forward, but we're not pressing the butt out, right? We're also not extending with that lower back. That one's going to take a second to get used to. That is 10 on each side. We'll be alternating that Superman knee drive. When you're done, we're going to go to an alternating V-Up. Now, in the V-Up or on the V-Up, while doing the V-Up, however you'd like to phrase it, okay, I need you getting up onto your butt. I need us rocking all the way up onto our butt, touching our hand to our toes, and then coming back. Sometimes in a V-Up, we see this. Goes first, the leg comes second. Or we see this. Leg goes first, arm comes second. They've got to fire simultaneously, and we have to meet right in the middle on our butt. This position is perfect, right? I'm nice and tall. If you were to stand me up, this is a perfect posture position. If I was to do this while I'm doing a V-Up, and you were to stand me up from here, this is poor posture. It's called kyphosis, or kyphotic posture. We don't want that, right? This is not great. This is great. So even though we're doing a core exercise, we're still focusing on the position of our chest and a positioning of our back in a good posture position. Alternating V-Up is going to be 10 on each side. Then we switch to the alternating side V-Up, which I'm lying on my left glute right now, just past my left hip. I'm not completely on my left hip here. I'm going to roll just slightly onto my left glute, okay? I'm going to use my left hand. Actually, let me switch this so you can see me better. Okay, so now I'm on my right glute. I'm going to use my right hand and anchor on the ground. And I still want to move on my butt. So I'm still firing simultaneously with my legs and my hand meeting in the middle on the crown of my butt. If you're doing that and you feel restricted, it might be because you're too far on your hip. Right? I can't really side bend if I'm on my hip. I have to roll onto my glute and find that point where I'm able to actually come up and fold and meet in the middle. That's going to be 10 on each side. There's only 3 exercises in this series, okay? It's going to take us right to the end of going back into more stretching. But again, this is our second circuit, 4 rounds of this. We're going to go to this wall angle Spider-Man knee drives. So find your position, right? Let's run through the checklist. Hands are right across from my shoulders, okay? I feel like I have a good straight line from my ear to my ankle. My hips aren't extending towards the wall. I've got that pillar core engaged. Now when you're ready, let's start it up. So I'm trying to get that same to the same elbow. 1, 2, 3, 7, 9, 10. Perfect. Onto our back, the alternating V-Up. We've got time on our butt. Here we go. Ready? 1. Fire simultaneous. 3. 7, 9, and 10. Let's side V up. We're on our glute. If I'm on my right glute, the right arm is out. That's helping me out here. You get up, legs and arms to fire at the same time. 6, 7, 9, and 10. You should feel that somewhere in the oblique region. Other side. Here, arm up, on the butt. Get up. 10. Perfect again. Somewhere in that oblique region. Should be firing. Back to our wall. That's the end of round 1. Round 1, easy. Add your feet away from the wall. Okay? Keep the hips forward. It does not mean that we extend with the lower back. 3, 4, you might feel the hip flexors fine a little bit. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Maybe a little bit hip flexors going, little obliques. Right back to that V-Up. Alternating. Here we go. 3, 4, 6, 9, 10. Oh yeah. Starting to feel it. Arm out. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good other side. 2, 3, 10. Oh yeah. Feeling it. Here we go, guys. End of round 2, right into round 3. In that spot on the wall. Good challenge on our hips. Good challenge on those lower abs. Pressing the hips forward. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. Right to that alternating V-Up. Good work, guys. We got about 10 minutes left in class here. We are right on time. We're going to finish this out and get a good stretch. Plenty of rest on the horizon. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, and 10. Oh yeah. Here we go. Right, that side plank. Side position. I'm losing my mind. Side position. 2, 3, and 10. Other side here. 3, 1, 2, 4, 5, 10. All right, guys, last one. Give yourself a good challenge here on this last set on the wall. Find a good challenging. Take a deep breath. You don't need to rush through it. Find that right position. Hips forward. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Alternating V-up. That's side V-up. And that's going to do it. Here we go. Strong here. Alternating V-up. Quick on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 10. Oh yeah. Somewhere in the core region. Side V up. Just sit here, crew. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side. 1, 2, 4, 6, and 10. Guys, a little core work. We're gonna rest here for about 2 minutes. It's gonna take us to about 5-minute mark. We're gonna spend some time stretching out our hip flexors, stretching out the obliques, the lower back, everything that we hit here today. Take your time. My hip flexors are definitely feeling. So I'm just gonna actively walk, see if I can loosen them up a tiny bit. And we get about 1 minute and 20 seconds, give or take, until we cool it down. Not too bad of a core day today. Just enough after Memorial Day, after about 7 ears of corn, and maybe half a bowl of Doritos. The jury's still out on that one. All right, guys. Now, let's go back. Let's get our mat. We're gonna spend some time again. Let's work on everything we hit today and what we covered. Remember, the beginning was all about lumbo-pelvic hip region. So you'll hear us talk about that a lot, right? That's fancy jargon for basically saying, your core is below your chest from here, right? One could argue in the middle of your thighs, it's not down to the knee, right? Because when you think about everything that's attached to your pelvis, right, that is grand central station of our body. There is so many muscles, I believe 36, if my memory serves me correct, that intersect the pelvis, right? So everything from, right, your six pack to your obliques, your QL, right? We start going into hip flexor muscles, the glutes, right? Your erector spinae, your multifidus, right? And those are all big, big words, but understand the point I'm trying to get across is, right, this area of the body is key to not only be strong, but also to be flexible. So we did spend some time in the beginning going a little bit of a longer warm up. And now we're going to spend the last 5 minutes here today of a really, really specific cool down. So what I want in a half kneel position, we're going to start here. I want you to actively press your hip forward. If it's my right knee, I'm going to take my right hand and lock it across my left. And I'm going to try to open up. So I'm going to take my left hand and rotate back. I'm actively still pressing my right hip forward, but I'm opening up. Once I'm here, we talked about this earlier, once I'm here, take a big deep breath in. big exhale out. See if we can press the hip a little bit further and see if we can rotate a little bit further back. The eyes should be at the hand. 3 deep breaths. 3. You should feel a good stretch on that hip flexor. You should also feel the oblique firing a little bit as well. Let's switch sides, okay? Remember, first things first, send the hips forward. Take the same hand, since it's my left knee, lock it across. Now here I can already feel this left hip flexor is definitely tighter. So I'm gonna use my breath. Still actively pressing forward. Try to increase that range of motion. One more. Perfect. Now, Frogger stretch. We're gonna be on the inside of our feet. Okay, so I'm gonna turn my feet like so. Okay, my feet are out. The inside of my knee is down, the inside of my shin, the inside of my feet. With my hands on the ground, I'm gonna actively rock my hips back and press my hips back. If you do this right, you're gonna feel the groin firing. The groin, remember, lumbo-pelvic hip region is all part of the core, right? The groin is definitely within that region. So we press our butt back, try to find a good stretch. Big breath in, big breath out, and we release. So press back as far as you can go. Big breath in, big breath out. Try to get a little bit further in that stretch, and then release. One more. As we exhale, we're trying to sink into that stretch. Get further and further into that stretch. Let's flip it over. One of the best, child's pose. Knees down, hands down. Press our butt back over our heels. Once we're here, we're gonna take 3 big, deep breaths. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more. Perfect. Now, last but not least, we're gonna hit our pigeon stretch. So we're lying our leg across. So you're gonna be on the outside of the leg. Remember that Frogger stretch? We were on the inside. Now, it's the outside of my ankle, it's the outside of my shin, it's the outside of my leg. And what I wanna do is, I wanna try to actively work myself down to the ground, okay? And while I'm doing this, I'm trying to press my left glute towards the ground. So I'm actively pressing. I'm not rolling onto it. I need to stay on the side of my shin. But as I press my glute down, you should feel a good stretch in the glute, maybe even in the lower back. Big breath in. Big breath out, right? The shoulders are square. If you're starting to feel like you're leaning towards that left side, the shoulders are not going to be square or not getting the stretch that we're looking for. Big breath in and big breath out. Last one. All right, crew. Last side here on the side of that leg. Shoulders square. Actively pressing my glute towards the ground. Just 3 deep breaths. And 3. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, it's been my pleasure. I hope you guys had a great core day. We've got plenty of great classes lined up for the rest of the week, so please tune in. Looking forward to seeing you, and I will see you next Tuesday. Thank you.